So I would say we're a very marginal player in the dominant supermarket-dominated food industry, and but at the same time we have a very loyal clientele that really come to us every week, and we are their main food supplier. So we have a very strong position in a very small part of the big food chain.
And what would you think the dominant characteristics are of this big food chain?
Yeah. It's a good question. Actually, so I'm not so I don't participate in that chain anymore. So I don't have first-hand experience, but my sense is that it's more mass-oriented, like mass production, profit-driven, and what's another word? Well, those are two good words, I would say. Yeah. So economic incentive-driven, and consequence of that is just mass production. Yeah.
Okay.
It's my sense. Yeah.
And do you think this dominant food system leaves communities more vulnerable to crisis, perhaps?
It depends on what kind of crisis, no?
Okay.
It depends on how severe the crisis is. So actually, I'm quite amazed that during the whole crisis, we could have we still do have products from. Basically, we didn't really see any change in our supply chain.
Wow.
So apparently, this crisis wasn't so severe that it was really affecting it. But with a more, if logistics really stop, then of course the whole system is. No one knows how to provide their own food, no?
Yeah.
So it depends on how severe the crisis is, I would say.
Okay. And with regards to this current kind of corona epidemic, would you say perhaps, in your opinion, that the current dominant food system is somewhat contributing to this or created this disease, perhaps?
Dankjewel, lekker.
Alsjeblieft.
Leuk om een keertje hier te zitten.
Nou hè, eens een keer van de andere kant.
Een heerlijke pauze.
Alsjeblieft.
That's a big question, no? So there's the relationship with the meat industry and the mass meat industry. There's some potential relationship with the virus being transmitted from huge animal harming.
It's fine. This can pick up anything, really.
So there's that aspect that maybe that mass production system contributes to that, and then there's of course the whole web, of global interwovenness that allows that virus to spread very quickly. So if movements are very local and very then you don't have this pandemic as easily. But it's not only the food, it's all the whole worldwide network of connectivity.
And how has your work been affected by the corona crisis?
So I would say on a very practical level, not so strong, because we could continue the market every week. We didn't have to stop. Of course, there's this kind of superficial practical things of distancing and all that stuff, but it's not been so disruptive. Actually, it's been nice for us. It's been much more. It's been more relaxed, our work. More easy. After a few weeks of panic atmosphere here on the market, it was very relaxed and very more easygoing atmosphere. Normally it was quite an intense, people are really like this, and now it's much more relaxed. So I'm quite happy with the past months. I really don't wish for that to change so much so quickly. Yeah, and it was actually a very beautiful time for us. Yeah,
Okay.
very beautiful time, and also it really kind of highlighted for me that we're doing a very important thing here. You know, that
Okay.
we're providing food, and in that time of crisis, you really feel like, okay, what's essential, and we really felt like, wow, we're doing something very essential here. So that was actually very beautiful kind of highlight that the crisis brought. Yeah.
Okay, super. And did it affect perhaps the strength of your network, maybe like your own personal supply chain with your producers and your customers as well? Or?
I would say yes. Not so much with the supply, because that's been very I'd say that's just a business transaction. You know, we don't really have of course with the farm, like we are a farm stall, but with our suppliers from abroad, we don't have like a personal connection so much. So that hasn't really changed. But with the customers, it's really like we've gone through this together somehow. So I really
Okay.
feel like it's strengthened the relationship. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is your vision of how the food system should be?
Yeah, good question.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, so I've just started doing this work a year ago, and since half a year I'm also doing I'm the coordinator, so I'm also doing the buying basically. Like, so that's connected me to the land, not directly, like I'm not the farmer like really harvesting, but I'm connected to, okay, this is available now from locally, this is not available anymore, now we have to bring it in from Italy. So that's really strength made me aware of where the food is actually coming from. So that's something that I would really like to bring, you know, to the people buying the food, that they are aware of, wow, this apple is coming from a tree, you know. So that's something, and yeah, to not take it for granted has also been a big gift of the crisis, you know. Not take things for granted. So those are two things that I would really like to emphasize, and and how to do that. Yeah, I mean, I could also see a much more radical kind of step of really only eating local food, which means that like half of the stuff that we sell, even in summer, we don't sell anymore, and especially in winter, it's only like here in Holland, it's very like barren. It's like cabbage and leek. That's about it. Potato. But I can see that it's depending on how the system moves, kind of the collective waves, and also the climate develops. It's maybe necessary, you know, to not eat bananas anymore, and not eat avocados, and not eat whatever, you know, all that stuff that's brought in. So I don't know. It really depends on the collective and the ecological big waves, on what is necessary, basically. Because I do see that, like we as a culture, we're pretty spoiled. So if something isn't necessary, like, it's not gonna really happen, you know. If there's no bananas, we stop eating bananas. But if there's some possibility of eating bananas, then we won't stop eating bananas. Basically, that's kind of my sense. So the crisis will kind of decide on what the outcome is. Yeah.
Okay, so but
Yeah.
do you think that the Corona crisis is some sort of maybe disruptive moment that can push this
For the food
for food
chain. I don't think it's been severe enough, actually. Like I said, like our customers didn't really on a very like supply level. There hasn't been a disruption, actually. Like, we could keep selling all the stuff that we normally sell. So we haven't really seen a disruption in that sense. So no, I think that for something to really shift and much stronger, like, then really all the supply chains need to be cut for like a few months. So we really see like, wow, we only have what's really local now to really bring that home, to really, yeah. So I don't think Corona has been severe enough in the in disrupting the supply chain, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, if we talk about like theories of change, maybe like how do you think it needs to change, or how would it change, be able to change?
Yeah.
Do you think it's like it needs a big disruption in your opinion?
Yeah. So like I say, I don't think as a collective now, you know, we're not change oriented, and we're not like the collective awareness isn't broad enough to really make the decisions that are healthy on a global level yet, you know. So like I say, it really needs to come from forced change, basically. So you like another crisis that is really disrupting, like that is forcing the change on us, basically. I don't think it's gonna, like there's some, you of course you see the pioneers and the people that already have this kind of wider awareness that are making stronger choices now. You see it happen a little bit, but on a global scale it's not happening yet.
Did the crisis maybe affect your vision of the future and an understanding of how things should change, or has it been the same?
It's just kind of it's been a step. It's revealed what I would say. It is because I already had a sense before of, like, my vision hasn't changed, but it has revealed that it's very easily possible actually, if the change is forced. You know, like we can stop flying, we can stop, running around basically. If like overnight, basically, like happened, you know, like no air traffic, all that stuff, like, so it's revealed to me what is possible actually, if on a collective level we really make strong decision that anything is possible. Yeah. Okay. So it hasn't changed my vision, but it has kind of opened up the possibility of it really happening, you know.
Super.
Yeah.
And do you think there's elements of the future food system that you envision that are happening right now? Farmers in markets.
Yeah. I mean, on the one hand, yes. So I just heard. Wow, she's running back to work. I just heard that they're gonna open up a shop here in the fall, like that's completely local, like a little farm shop with local produce. So you see these little, and also no packaging and stuff. But it's not yet like really, like it's on the margin still, you know. So it doesn't feel like it's really has the full momentum yet that's necessary. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my sense. Yeah.
So okay. And interesting. Do I have any other questions?
Yeah, and generally, you know, so I would say, like, it starts from a global awareness, you know.
Yeah.
So there's different ways to kind of look at it, and my sense is really that it starts with kind of with a sense of self that shifts from, okay, I'm just my little individual doing my thing and this is good for me, to really having a broad sense of, wow, my decisions affect the whole planet, you know, like every decision.
Yeah.
So that awareness is, for me, is where the root of the change is coming from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And from your work, if you think about what you have, like, what do you have to do to help bring this future system about?
Yeah.
What would you consider that, like, those needs?
So what I really like, so there's a student project that has drawn, you can take a look at them later. They have drawn the life cycle of the plant that brings the cucumber or zucchini or whatever. So that's one thing that I want to really bring into the stall more, to really make people aware of, wow, this is I buy this, but it's coming from the land, you know. And I've also had the sense of really making stronger decisions in only offering local food, but that's a tricky thing because it's on a business level. It's not an easy decision to stop selling bananas. So this is where where the vision, also my personal vision and the farm's vision, which is like we work together, where they have to kind of meet halfway. Yeah, because this is not my business. I'm doing it for the farm.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm following their vision also, and kind of pushing a little bit somewhere. But yeah,
It's very interesting because I interviewed the Hogeborn, and they also the one thing they mentioned was bananas and meeting halfway with the customers because of bananas.
yeah, it's this thing.
It's very strange.
They really can't come from Europe,
Yeah,
so we have to fly them in.
but
from
everyone
Peru.
wants them.
We're used to it now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not. Maybe we stop someday and see what happens.
Okay.
To make a statement. Let's see. Yeah.